Eleftheria is.
Yep.
Did I nail that, or is that bad?
You're close. It's Eleftheria.
Eleftheria. Okay.
Yeah, that was better.
I'll practice for the next video, but but yeah, for people who don't know, we did record this and it bombed out. So yeah, thanks once more for doing it again. But yeah, I guess once again, for people who don't know who you are, I guess we'll just tell people your quick backstory and what you do, I guess, in terms of development.
Yeah. So my name, as we've already mentioned, is Eleftheria, and it's a bit difficult to be pronunciated. I'm also aware of that. I'm a front-end developer, and I'm working as an app developer, and most specifically, I'm working with AngularJS, and my team and I are working on an application for Android and iPhone.
Awesome. So one thing I didn't ask in the previous one is, are you using AngularJS for app stuff? Because I have no experience with Angular, so how does that work?
Yeah, we are using only AngularJS to make this application.
Ah, right. So is it like a progressive web app?
Sorry, what?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. I'm just throwing stuff out there as I have no idea about AngularJS, but yeah, I thought it would be is it an iPhone app or Android?
It's working for both. So
I see.
Yeah.
Oh,
we are using PhoneGap, and we have it for both platforms.
Ah, that's why. Yeah, PhoneGap. Yeah, I know a few people who've used that. Apparently, it's really good.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Yeah, no, that's good. And you're doing all well, once again, we mentioned all the FreeCodeCamp stuff. So how many, say, FreeCodeCamp articles have you done now, and what sort of integration have you had with people at FreeCodeCamp? Because there was, I believe, a video. Have you been interviewed at a conference by FreeCodeCamp?
Yeah, and I have done quite a few of them, and I'm more focused on the things that have to do with front end. So yeah, I don't remember exactly how many of them I have done, but I really like FreeCodeCamp as a platform and as a whole. The community is very well, and the applications and the small things, the small exercises and projects, are really good for a junior developer, and they are really helpful and into the point, so I really like them. And the other thing that you mentioned with the conference and the talk that I had with them, it's because I was uploading videos on YouTube for FreeCodeCamp, and they saw some of those videos and they republished them in their YouTube channel, and they were quite helpful for the people and the community, and they thought that they would make me a top contributor, but of course not only me, some other people as well, that they helped the community in FreeCodeCamp. So they did let's say 3 parties, and one of them was in Europe, the other 2 was one in the USA, and the other one, I think it's going to be in Tokyo, if I'm not wrong. So I've been to that one in Europe. It was in Dublin in Ireland, and
was it?
yeah, it was really nice, because we met each other, and I met Quincy Larson, which is the one who built FreeCodeCamp. So it was really, really nice. Yeah.
The claim to fame. Yeah, that's really good. FreeCodeCamp is really good. I don't know how long it's been going, honestly, but the resources are everywhere now. For everything, you can find React, Angular. I learned some GraphQL stuff on there actually a while back, which was really good. But yeah, it's huge, and they do a lot of Medium articles. I've got so many shares and everything else. It's a huge platform now. It's really good. So yeah, I guess some of the stuff we talked about previously, your goals as a developer going forward. You mentioned that even though you're doing AngularJS now, that which you rightly said, most libraries or frameworks eventually come to an end. It's kind of like jQuery. I don't know if you've used jQuery ever before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like coming to an end now as well. So I guess you'll focus for now on like AngularJS stuff, then eventually see what comes round or what you're interested in for maybe your next job or the current job you're at, maybe the change technologies.
Exactly, because now I'm working with AngularJS also in my work, so I want to focus on that part. But I know that eventually I will do something else. It would be about, of course, programming and coding and front end based, but I don't think that it would continue be AngularJS. So for now, my focus is there, but after like a couple of years, most probably I will change. And I don't know what this new thing will be, but
maybe you'll create it. Yeah, maybe, but no, that is so true though. Like even with stuff like jQuery, I think that came maybe it was like 2003 or 2006, but now it's coming to a death. But that was quite a long one. But most stuff is going towards the view element. That's fine. That just gets me back for not recording your audio last time. So we're even now. So the conference was over in Ireland. Like, what made you go to that conference specifically?
Because I wanted to travel and because I wanted to meet up with everyone, and like I like communicating with people not only online, which is something easy, you can communicate online with somebody like very easily, but I really like to connect with the other like in a more profound ways. And I think that if you see each other like if you're close to each other, then you will understand the other person better. And because I'm quite an introvert, and this is something that I didn't fully mention in our previous conversation, like I think it's sometimes when I meet someone like in person, I can understand them like better rather than through online communication, and that's why I mainly did it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely right. Like I've spoke to a few people like online who are totally different in person. It's so much easier to sit behind a keyboard.
True.
But yeah, I think definitely more people have to like go out there and meet other people. It's a rewarding thing to do, and just getting out of your comfort zone is really good as well.
Yeah.
And like you said, are you going to any more conferences in the next like say few months, or and maybe speaking at one like you said? we'll keep that one quiet.
I'm not sure. Hopefully I will go, but I don't think that I can mention sorry for that. Really will close it.
Yeah, but you have got the well, with all the busy stuff you do, it's like kind of hard to like with the masters, with the full-time job. Are you doing any freelancing now? 'Cause you did some in the past, didn't you?
Now, no, because I wanted to focus more on YouTube, and I think that for a month or so I wasn't uploading any YouTube videos because I had to focus on my masters and like I had my final exams there, and before that I didn't have a lot of time to study because I was freelancing. So then I said like, okay, we'll stop freelancing at least for now and for the next few months, and I will focus more on the things that I personally like. And of course I do like creating videos and stuff, but it's not the same on creating something which is like yours and you can control it, like, and you can do it however you like, and that's what I'm doing with my YouTube channel and the videos that I'm creating there. And it's different to have to do a course. So for now I will try to focus more on my YouTube channel, and then maybe I will also do some courses. We will see.
Yeah, it's definitely right, because when you create something for someone else, it'll probably never see, either it'll see the light of day, but you won't really get that kind of full creative freedom that you want as well, which is quite hard. But in terms of like said learning, how has YouTube helped you learn?
Oh, it helped me a lot. Basically that's how I started, like with YouTube and FreeCodeCamp. But on YouTube there are a ton of things that you can watch in your own time, and you have to search maybe a little bit to see what suits best for you. But I really like YouTube, and like I think that from when I was 18 that I started do some coding stuff. That's when I got more into that. So yeah, for me it was like super helpful.
Yeah, I think it's got a ton of resources on there, and I guess we spoke about this before, like your favorite thing about programming. But what's the worst thing about programming?
That new frameworks and new libraries are popping all the
everywhere.
time. And yeah, if you're a front-end developer, then you would know that like there's always new stuff. And I know that we're talking about technology, and the technology like always progress, and new stuff will pop over all over the time. But sometimes it can be quite hard to follow like all those trends. So
oh yeah, if you don't enjoy learning, like programming's not going to be a great job because stuff pops up everywhere. Like there's some jobs you could get and you could learn one thing and be great at that one thing forever. But with programming, it's like you say probably every 12 months at this point. But yeah, in terms of resources for say junior developers, do you have like top 3 resources that they can go to learn programming? Maybe they've been programming for say 3 months, 6 months, or coming out of university. Like what top 3 resources would you recommend?
I would say like FreeCodeCamp, and then Udemy, and then YouTube. And I will say like these 3 because they are free. Of course, in Udemy, like you have some paid courses, but there are always some free. And these 3 platforms also have like a great variety, so you can search for whatever you want and you will find something. You have to do some digging, but there is always something. And no matter what level you are, like yes, you are junior, but there are different kinds of junior. You can find like specific things for your level. So I think that this is great, and these are like definitely my 3 top.
Yeah. So for stuff like Angular, would you also recommend like FreeCodeCamp? Because I've never searched for Angular JS. Like where would you recommend for like for your viewers to go learn about Angular?
For Angular, I worked more with Udemy, but I think that they will be able also to find in YouTube and FreeCodeCamp. But I remember that I started with Udemy.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, so at Angular, there's tons of resources on like Udemy, I imagine. Yeah. And like you said, there's always like YouTube to go to as well. And one thing you mentioned previously is just stick to like one course, because you can easily like lose your mind with watching like 2, 3, 4, 5 courses. So yeah, stick with something like that. Angular is really good as well. Like for jobs, anyways, you can see online. There's tons of jobs going forward for Angulars. But so yeah, that's some solid advice for juniors. And if you want to go ahead and learn, and you are watching this, whether you're doing Angular, React, or Vue, those 3 resources, I'm sure, have got everything on there. But for people wanting to freelance, like how did you get into freelancing, and what would you recommend to do for freelancing, and how would you set like budgets and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think that if you want to be a freelancer, you have to have some kind of portfolio, so the other person can see your work, because he or she doesn't know you, so she has to trust you. So they have to see your work. So that's how I started. Like everything that I had done, like for projects, even if it was something small or big, like I had it on GitHub, maybe I had it in my portfolio on my website, maybe I had it in YouTube. And like, don't be afraid to talk about your project, but also know your project. So you cannot have something that you don't remember it, or you're not sure about it, or you don't know how you build it, because that would be quite awkward. So have stuff and know about your stuff. It can be quite difficult to start as a freelancer, because there are a lot of people who want to be freelancer, and there are some people like from different countries that maybe they can take like less money that you can. So that can be also quite tricky. I think that at first, like, it's okay to have like a smaller gig and not ask too much, because this is also like how you will gain some people that will give you jobs.
Yeah, so like clients who keep coming back for the
clients,
same stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that like if you stick to it, like you will find some good jobs there as well. But you have like to try it quite a bit until at least you have your first jobs.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Like you said, like because like with the web, anyone from any country can visit, and someone in another country where, for example, San Francisco, you'd have to get a project of quite a lot of money to be able to make it feasible to live out there, where in another country it may be, quite low.
Yeah.
But say I was like someone who's just finished a computer science or web development or engineering course, and I want to get into the world of programming and go get a job, like how would you explain FreeCodeCamp to someone, and the advantages of doing 100 days? Because like we mentioned before, that you've done 100 days already, and probably the only person to do like 200 days. It's crazy. Like, what does that 100 days give you? Is it like memory repetition, or?
For me, like at first I started doing like 100 days of code because I wanted a schedule and I wanted to stick to it. So I knew that back then I was doing my internship, and I knew that after my internship was done, I was going home and I will code a little bit every day. So by coding, not only I had like more skills, but also I started creating a portfolio. So I knew that this is something that eventually I could like say to a hiring manager, hey, you can do this kind of thing. So maybe I'm suitable for that position you have. And before that, I didn't have a portfolio, I didn't have a lot of skills, and although I was doing my internship, I still hadn't like a lot of things, and I wasn't very confident. But while I was doing that journey with 100 days of code, I think that I gained not only knowledges, but also I started to connect more with people, because maybe I was asking for feedback, maybe I was giving feedback to other people. I started using more Twitter, and again I started to connecting more and more, and it's nice to feel that you belong in a community.
Yeah.
And like this is also one great thing with FreeCodeCamp, like they have a big community and it's easy to talk with somebody.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I see the Twitter hashtag, like there's tons of people in there just talking about the stuff they're doing, what day they're on. Did it help you get a job? Like did anyone like, I don't know, maybe see like all the videos you've uploaded and be like, wow?
Not in that way, but in a way that I had done quite a few things, and I did these things because of FreeCodeCamp or because of the 100 days of code challenge. And then when I was going to interviews and they would ask me like, what do you do in your free time, I could say that I'm coding and I'm doing the 100 days of code, and if you want to see, like, you can check on Twitter, you can check on GitHub, like I do these kind of things.
Yeah, that was kind of my next question. Like, with all the time you do, like the full-time job, the masters, and all the videos, like, how do you get downtime and not like burn out through all this stuff you do?
I think because I really like what I'm doing. That's because like I'm not in that place. I'm afraid that eventually I will burn out. But for now, I think that I'm okay. Like my parents always tell me, relax a little bit and have some time for yourself. But I like what I'm doing, so yeah, I guess it's okay for me.
That's like a superpower, not burning out. Like, I'm sure there's so many people out there just like, how have you done this?
No, I think that eventually I will, but for now I'm okay.
So like within those 4 years of your development, because you've been programming for 4 years, I believe.
Yeah.
What's the one crucial tip or piece of advice that you just pass on to someone else who's going through the process of finding the first programming job?
To like never stop learning and like believing that you can learn. And if you are with another person in your team, maybe like always ask them questions. Just don't be afraid that you will like
100%.
Yeah, like always ask. If you have a question, it's better to ask it now rather than later. And don't be afraid like that you will look like you're stupid or something. You're a beginner, like the other person knows that you're a beginner, so do ask questions.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. Like, I think a lot of people are just too afraid to just stand up and ask a question. And the worst thing about that is if you're in a team of 10 people and maybe 5 people are thinking the same thing, and no one dares to ask that question, you're all going to struggle. So someone just speak up. Everyone's probably thinking the same question. But yeah, I guess like, well, coming towards the end, like what's one piece of like advice you just give to someone who says, okay, I want to get into programming. Like, how do I begin? Because there's that concept around programming, at least where I'm from, is like, oh, it's for like really nerdy people. So like, how would you give someone that a little bit of confidence to get into programming and say, this is probably the best place to go learn, because there's so much stuff out there. Yeah, like what's the advice you give to someone who wants to start programming?
Yeah, I would start by saying that knowing that coding is hard, and being a developer it's hard, but if you really like it, you go for it, like pursue your dreams. And at first it's going to be super hard, but you have to stick to it, and you really have to try for it. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid of like giving or receiving feedback.